This is Revolutions Per Minute on DZRJ Radio with Marilyn Croft, Bjorn Martinoff, and I'm Eric LeCain. Through the next hour and a half, we will be those to take charge of their destiny. Marlon is off today. However, we do have our own resident expert, business coach, and author, Bjorn Martinoff.
Hey, Mabuhay Philippines, excited to be here. Today will be my last show for many, many reasons, but I haven't lost my excitement for the show, and I love being here the last 2 years. And I feel very blessed because today we have a very, very, very special guest, very dear to me, and finally be able to have her with us here at DZRJ, RPM, Revolutions Per Minute. Revolutions Per Minute.
Yeah, last week we decided to change the name to the show.
Well,
to
that's
Revelations.
temporarily.
I was going to walk out if it's Revelations.
She's already threatening to walk out.
It's not a biblical connotation. So.
Yeah, it's we have with us today Miss Agnes Gervacio. I hope I said that right. She's the president of NEC, and Eric's going to tell us a little bit more about her.
Well, it turns out that she has a degree in electronics and communication engineering.
That's amazing.
And just to rip through a few things really quick, the vice president of Eastern Telecoms, then the vice president of Bayan Telecoms, the country manager of PACnet, and most recently the president of NEC Philippines, I believe the first woman ever president. First Filipino woman to ever be the president of NEC Philippines.
That's right. Thank you.
Congratulations. That's amazing. That in itself is already amazing, no? Yeah.
Now, along with us today, just so we don't forget on our panel, we have a special guest on our panel, Olera Magpanti.
Magpanti.
I have been saying her name for the last 3 weeks.
Let's roll that back a little bit. Let's roll that back.
No wonder he likes your name.
I've been practicing at home in front of the mirror.
Yeah, she's already blushing.
saying her name, and she is our very own certified conversational hypnotherapy practitioner. That's what I've been waiting. That's what I love to say. Is the title of your background?
Why?
She'll be taking us up and down some stairs.
You want to say her name one more time?
It's Olera Magpanti.
Ayun, there you go. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello to everyone who's listening right now at DZRJ and Revolutions Per Minute.
Revelations again.
Yeah, so Mabuhay Pilipinas and welcome to our show. We're glad to have you here, all listeners.
Well, we're definitely happy to have all of you. Now, Bjorn and I, we're very, very happy to have our special guest, Agnes, here today.
Absolutely. And I hope she's going to reveal to us the secrets of how to become a woman leader in one of the biggest, best, and most successful companies in the world.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's right.
Well, so let's just dive right in. Since we're just starting out, everybody's trying to read my notebook.
It was like. Okay,
by the way, she looks
Eric?
very cute today. She's normally dressed very professional, and today more of a casual 70s hippie outlook, right? That I really appreciate.
I hope she can stand a little bit because I have been ogling with how she looks today. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous, you know?
Oh,
Very
thank you.
much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Thank you. Don't worry, I'll share secrets later.
Oh, yes. I'll look forward to that.
I can bring it to my tailor.
Definitely all important about the necklace you wear when you're on radio.
Oh, goodness. Yes. You can't be without accessories if you're speaking on radio, right?
Yes, well,
Wow.
I know you can tell by all the accessories that me and Bjorn wear.
You have a shirt on.
Yeah, okay. we're not
Good thing,
yes,
right?
That's a good thing. Last time I met you, you were barefoot.
No
wearing
way.
shorts.
Was he behind the stove?
No.
Or under the bridge?
I think it was a barbecue pit of sorts.
Oh, okay, so right
it
place.
was in a beach volleyball court.
Beach volleyball, that's right.
And I love beach volleyball. I used to play a little pro ball back in the day, and your daughter is quite the beach volleyball player.
She is.
She's got quite a lot of notoriety from playing, just because of her mother. But actually, she.
Oh gosh, no. I'm the least popular Gervacio in my house, to be very honest about it. I mean, it's something that makes me smile. I think you could see that. It's radiating because I'm very proud of what she has done. I think my kids are much braver than I am. I was sharing with Bjorn, I have a fear of heights. And yet, I still do it. My son's dream is for me to sit next to a roller coaster to him. We're planning this vacation in December, which we usually do. And, everywhere in the world, as in everywhere, I am not kidding. Everywhere in the world we go, somebody would want a photo with my little girl.
Wow.
And it has become a joke. It has become a joke. I mean, we were very fortunate. We were in Rome when the new Pope was installed.
Wow.
We booked the trip many months before Pope Gregory actually retired. And we got to Rome. It was Wednesday. It was a Holy Wednesday. And we heard Mass. Pope Francis was there. And, like any Catholic, you'd feel very good about being there.
Yeah, I love Pope Francis.
Yeah, he's a rock star.
He really
he's a rock
is.
star. He's got a different vibe to him in comparison
Totally.
to John Paul II.
And I like John Paul II
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
I mean,
right?
he's the man, so to speak.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we walk out of the Vatican, and there were like a lot of stores selling religious artifacts, and these guys said, "Oh my gosh, Gervacio is here. We want a photo with you." And I was like, "Wow."
You're famous even in Italy.
Nobody wants a photo with me, Yeah, but I think I'm very gifted in that respect. I have very cool
blessed.
kids,
Yeah. Cool mom, cool kids.
That is true.
cooler kids. Their dad gave them better genes, so
I probably could say the same about my kids. I think the combination is really good.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I know because I was reading when you were growing up. I think life might have been quite different.
Oh goodness, yes.
For you when you. It says when you were young, you were about to work for a burger joint, and you got dengue.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And you couldn't work for the burger joint, but you ended up getting another job, and that job led to another job.
Yes.
And your roller coaster ride into the
world of
things
I
kind
know
of took off.
Yeah,
I mean,
go
like,
ahead.
oh yeah, wow, that brings back memories. Yeah, I remember. I was in Singapore, and I came home on a Monday. I was supposed to start work as a data programmer. I have a degree in electronics engineering, and I took up a few units in Masters of Science in Computer Science. I started going to school for that masteral stuff, and I come home. I have very high fever, and landed in the hospital. I had dengue fever. It was pretty bad because
So
my
scary.
platelet count. Yeah, it was scary. I mean,
Yeah.
like my doctors kept me there. They didn't know what was wrong with me at the
Yeah.
time. This
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh gosh,
Newly.
decades ago, and and I missed the job. They said no, you have to start. It was no burger joint though. It was. I will not say the name, but I think it was a respectable firm.
But no burgers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It just sounds better. It gives
I
more to
know,
the
I
story.
know.
Let's take a burger. It's actually not a burger joint. It's a company, I think, that sells burgers.
Operates
Yes.
burger
Yeah.
joints, right? I'm just teasing you. I'm like that. You'll get used
That's
to
when
it.
we were still able to eat burgers, right? We're still
Yeah.
young enough. to
No,
eat that.
but yeah, that's true. And I think it paved the way for me to do something else. Otherwise, I would be doing a different career, which, in hindsight, I don't think I'd be very happy with it. I like people. I like facing people. I think you could see that. I like interaction. I like people. And I think that's what led me to do a sales job. That's a lot of my work is actually selling, corporate technical selling, because I have a technical degree, and I think it radiates because I'm really interested in people. I enjoy being with people. Not all, but yeah, generally yes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's probably part of your success, right? That you like people and people like you. Right?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully they like me back because seriously. I mean, like the first time I meet anyone I like, I immediately like. I think that's that's the way I'm wired, you know. Good thing, bad thing, that's the way I am. So you just,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Well, being in sales, being in sales, obviously you need people to like you, but
Yes.
being the president of a company, you need a lot of different people to like you because you have your employees and management and a lot of people that might be right on your tails waiting for you to make a mistake.
Oh, goodness, yes.
And all that. So, I mean,
At the same time, it can't be a popularity contest, right?
No, it's not. You have to make a lot of hard decisions as well for the business. There has been a lot of hard decisions that I have made through my life, and sometimes I still cringe when I think about those because you affect people's lives. I'm not the best girl out there, but every time I have to decide on promotions, which comes every year, right? Like when you're reviewing performance and stuff, I have to pray a little prayer. I have to say a little prayer. I was like,
Yeah.
please help me here.
Oh yeah,
Because there has to be someone out there looking after me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be this kind of blessing, being received. Yeah, I don't think I did a lot of great things in my life, and yet, everything's coming into play. So
beautiful.
the person
beautiful.
that made sure that you got dengue, that you went to the hospital, so you would not take the job at the burger joint, so you would do. It's all about fate.
it's all about the mosquito that was there that I shouldn't.
The mosquito that would change the world.
Yeah, the mosquito that changed the world, right? Yeah. I mean, like.
Imagine, a mosquito who can change the world. And
I
then
mean, look
here
at
we
the-
are
look
as
at
human
the
beings.
Olympics, right? Look at the Olympics. They were reconsidering whether it's the Zika virus, whether are we going to go? Are we going to send our teams? I mean, a lot of consideration has been done in order for them to finally say, yeah, the whole team's going.
That's right.
Are we going to hold off? There was even a question whether they will continue the Olympics on the date that it was originally scheduled for.
Yeah.
They were considering whether should we move it to another location or should we continue same time, same venue, and all that because of a mosquito.
Yeah. And then imagine, who are we to doubt ourselves? Us who are the creation, of something much bigger than us. We're created in the image and likeness, and yet we pretend that we're so small. And here a mosquito can change the world. And here we are, right? Pretending that we cannot, right?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know what I think? That because this mosquito just do what he has to do. He doesn't even think, am I worthy enough to bite this human being?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any thought process like that.
There's no process like that.
It's just yummy, yummy, yummy. Here I come.
So find what you like. Find what you like to eat. Find your yumminess.
Mosquito's not thinking, I may be responsible for the next president of
The thing that you think about is I have to do a good job at this. I guess it rubs off in many, many ways. My children, for example, like they know that I will never tell them, you have to be number one in class. You have to be number one in class. I will never tell them that. I would always tell them, like, do 100%, please. Give it 100%, sweetheart. And the rest will follow. Because there's always someone who would come along who would be, who would be taller, who would be stronger, who would be richer, more beautiful, more chances, everything more. But if you're the guy who doesn't give up, if you're the guy whose quest is always about excellence, then I think you're going to get somewhere.
Yeah, I think luck does play a little bit
Yes,
part in
I
it.
agree.
But making that percentage less by working hard,
Yes.
I think might be what's your.
So many things people say it's just working smart, but it's really the combination that
Both, yeah.
it's working smart and hard.
Yes,
Right? And
yes.
in a way, it sounds like you weren't competing so much against others, but you were competing with your own self.
Yes.
Right?
In a
And
lot
always
of times,
becoming
yes.
a better version
Yes.
of yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I think that's what's missing in so many young people today is I think they think they're competing with the rest of the world, but it's better to compete with yourself, right?
Did you hear what lighted on what she said?
Who?
Is that on what Agnes said? I saw her. I've been listening to her, and even in her body language, I could see it a lot right now on how she's carrying
I have a
this whole
small
conversation.
waistline, not a lot.
Yeah, but she said something about do 100%. Do 100%.
And have fun.
And have fun.
I always tell them, I bring my little boy to school. I will say, go, honey. Do your best today, honey. Huh? Okay? And have fun, sweetheart. Yes, Mom. Then he goes off,
Yeah. She was not the pressure. There was no pressure at all. When she said that, it's like, no pressure. All I have to do is do my best and have fun. It's like, oh, that's so easy. I don't have to be number one. All I have to do is do my best and have fun.
I think fun is also one of the secret key ingredients to being successful, right?
That is
because
true.
we get so much more done when we're having fun. But if we're not having fun,
You're happy.
It's like a struggle. It's like you drag yourself along the way. Might as well have fun, right?
There are days like that. I'm sure all of us would have days like that. Wherein, my goodness, I have to do the same thing again today. I have to face that thing that I have to face and all that. There are
exactly.
days like that. I mean, it's true, but it's a matter of mindset. It's how you deal with everything. I'll tell you a funny story. As I was growing up, I was sharing Bjorn this about swimming, right? I was proudly showing the free diving photos of my kids earlier today, and
they're beautiful.
Oh yeah, thank you very much.
Lovely.
The reason I'm probably very excited about those photos is because I'm so thrilled that they can enjoy the water. That's where the thrill is coming from. But as a child growing up, my parents were like, "No, don't go near the water." And then my mother would say, "You're gonna get dark." I was like, "Yeah."
So what?
Yes, Mom. Haven't you been?
No.
In Germany, everybody wants to get dark,
I think the rest of
but we can't.
My mother would say, "You're gonna get red. Don't go outside. You're gonna get red."
Yeah, exactly.
That's the darkest you could get.
Yeah, me too. And then I peeled.
Ouch first. Yeah, but like, my mother took up, just to give you a perspective, my mother took up Conservatory of Music, major in piano,
Oh, beautiful.
minor in voice, and she was a public school teacher. She was teaching music.
So very.
Yeah, she's, very proper lady. She would never get out of her bedroom without being, prepped. And the same goes with my aunt. I hope she's listening. Hi, Tita Sylvia.
Hi, Tita Sylvia.
Hi. Yeah, but yeah, it's a different world during her time and during my time. I was very fortunate. There was one time somebody from the Wall Street Journal actually came to my office asking me, because there seems to be a lot of women in the forefront in the Philippines. I think statistically we're like number 7 in 2014, and in 2015 we went up the rankings. And as far as gender parity is concerned, we're ranked number 5 globally. In the Asia Pacific region, I think we're always in the top 1 or 2. And then the top 3 countries are, if I'm not mistaken, was Finland, Norway, and another country out of
Maybe Iceland or something.
Iceland or something. Not Iceland.
No?
It's Finland, Norway, and
Scotland?
no, it's in this. Anyway, I will remember that later. But there is legislation that is actually pushing that into the forefront.
Well, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. And
For both men and for women.
for both men and for women.
Yes.
And I think statistics would show, and the statistics are very kind to women. When you put more women into the boards, actually, the economies grow and all that. And these are like statistics that I'm reading off of United Nations Development Program or the World Economic Forum.
I wrote this book called Develop Exponential Power, and there's 28 ways of expressing that power.
I have a signed copy.
You
Thank
do,
Bjorn.
yes.
Yeah.
I hope you read it.
I did.
But
Thank you.
after I read the book, I realized that these 28 powers, they're actually more natural to women than to men, which was like, whoa, that was like a wake-up call for me. It's like, why do we think that men make better leaders when these things are more natural to women? Yeah, so that was a pleasant surprise to me. It was a surprise, but a pleasant surprise, and that was the moment I think I started to really become a big advocate for women leaders, because my sense is there are some things that women leaders do even better than men. Women see the big picture, not just the next 3 months. They care not just about the company, but also the surroundings, the environment, and the outcome, right, and the consequences, which I call the big picture. And to me, that's so important, especially in a world that's starting to, or has begun a long time ago, to self-destruct. right? Can we continue to afford to do that, to send our world off on a path that's towards self-destruction? And I feel that if we have more women leaders who are actually leading like women, because there's some women that want to lead like men, right?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
but if we can have more women leaders,
The president's office looks better in high heels all the time.
You took my quote that I've been waiting to say.
Sorry.
Sitting on that quote for 20 minutes.
Sorry, Eric.
I'm so sorry. But on my first day at work, my boss at the time, a gentleman named Kusaka-san, flew in from headquarters to
Yes.
introduce me to the team. It was like a big surprise to everyone. This is Agnes. This is your new president. I was taking over from another Japanese gentleman who has been relocated to another office in Hong Kong. And and I said to everyone, "Good morning, everyone." And I'm sure everybody agrees that the president's office looks better in high heels. And everybody was like,
they were up in laughter. Right? That's nice.
NEC is a Japanese company.
Yes.
And in Japan, and I've worked in Japan before,
is
in general, you don't see a lot of women in upper management at all in any companies that I can even remember. So how on earth did you able to get yourself into that position of a Japanese company here in the Philippines, where you're not just in the upper level management, you're the president of NEC? How was that?
Well, I think I was very lucky. The gentleman who hired me, who sits on the board of Asia Pacific at the time, actually spent more of his management experience outside of Tokyo. Everybody else is like, I walked in and everybody's like, it's a woman. You're considering a woman for a job.
How many men were there?
I don't know. I really don't know how many were interviewed and all that, but I do remember people looked up when I walked in.
They thought it was August, not Agnes.
There's a misspelling.
Yeah, it is a woman.
Agnes, that's a man's name?
No,
Okay.
but I think they looked past the gender. I was very lucky, and like you said, I like that. I like that when you said not trying to lead like a man.
That's true.
I do what feels natural for me.
Exactly.
And I think that helped a lot. It's also my track record. I think what helped was my track record. I have been very fortunate to be working with fantastic teams, and I mean fantastic teams. I would not be getting all the successes if I don't have a good team behind me.
Oh yeah.
I'm only as good as the weakest person in my team, right? It's a cliche. People find it's like, come on, weakest link, whatever. But it's true. When somebody in my management team is not working at par, somebody will suffer. Somebody will have to carry that load, right? If my sales team is selling, but my collection person is not doing a good job in collecting, excuse me, people, we need the money. We need real money to come in, right?
That's right.
So I have been very fortunate to be working with fantastic teams all over the world, that actually, I think, fostered for NEC to notice me, my track record. We have been, and again, here at NEC, I have been very fortunate. My management team is beyond fantastic. And I like the fact that, we did a 360-degree evaluation of everyone, and we're totally scattered all over the globe in as far as the personalities are concerned. We have a even the whole company, we did a whole company 360 evaluation, and everybody's like scattered. The D, the I's, the S, and the C's, we're all scattered, which makes good for balancing. There's a left and a right, an upper and a lower. So people think about process, and people think about happy times. People think about how to do it, and people would say, "Let's go do it." So there's a good balance. So
you cannot have the controller be an influential person, right? Because they might neglect the details that they need to pay attention to. Right?
Exactly, and I have a good mix of all. I have people who would run when I say, "Let's go run," and there would be people who would say, "Let's think about it." Okay, that makes sense. I run with you.
When you think of when you immediately think of a woman president, you think she must be really bossy and micromanage everybody, and she's she's.
I try not to.
She's got long these long fingernails that she points at. What is your leadership style? Like, how do you deal with all these the people in your group? How do you teach them? Do you just give them an assignment and let them go, or do are you a micromanager or very assertive?
I'm
what's your
pretty
style?
assertive. I try to make sure that things are done at certain pace in the correct manner. But my team understands also that the reason they're there with me is because they're the experts in their respective fields. My technical head, I would always say to him, what do you think if it's a technical issue? If it's a governance issue, I'd go to my lawyer and say, what do you think? I make sure that my team is empowered to make decisions, not haphazardly. They still have to come to me and say, what do you think? And then we reach a consensus and they go run with it. I'm pretty blessed. My team is made up of very, very seasoned people. Ages are very disparate as well. Personalities are so different from each other as well. But, my finance person, for example, which gave me this necklace, featured several things. The Philippines was featured in one of those CNN commercials, and it was running for 3 months in all of Asia Pacific. A lot of people has been reached, and we've got very positive reviews. The Philippines is made up of many, many islands, 7,107 as of last count. I think one is...
Depending on low tide or high tide.
low tide or high tide.
And the Chinese.
And the what? The Chinese.
Let's make a joke.
But anyway, oh gosh, a jet ski came into my head. But anyway, so where was I? Yeah, so we do have a lot of fiber connectivity in all the islands. Our carriers have made sure that there are several figure eights, as they would call it, which allow redundancy into all the islands. However, they still need a lot of radio connections, and NEC has been in this country from the 60s onwards. You go to I'm sure you worked in Japan, and as soon as you enter Japan, the first brand that you will see in immigration is NEC. It's going to take your fingerprints, it's going to take your photo. That's one of the things that we have been doing very, very well, is the fact that we're foraying into biometrics, facial recognition, as well as AFIS, fingerprint.
AFIS.
Yeah.
AFIS, which I bet is very interesting.
It's very, very interesting. There's a company, there's a governing body, NIST. It's a National Institute of Standards in the U.S., and they actually give a rating every 2 years as to the best technology. And for the past 3 ratings, which covers 6 years, NEC has been landed as number 1 in accuracy and time and everything. So I guess that speaks volumes of what kind of technology we're coming out with. More into the social infrastructure side. We're into everything. Like when somebody asks me, what is NEC into? And my answer, and it's a true answer, you could see it in one of our showrooms in Tokyo. It says, we're from outer space all the way to the bottom of the ocean. We have active satellites that's circling outer space right now. That's why I was so thrilled when Diwata, the Philippine weather satellite, was launched some months ago, because the Japan Aerospace Agency was actually helping. And NEC, in a big way, is playing a satellite ball game. We do have submarine cables. I think all of the submarine cables that land into the Philippines, it's NEC branded. That's one of the big things that we have been doing in the telecom industry. But in the middle of that, we have everything. We have computers, we have laptops, we have notebooks. No more than phones. We've sold that line of business, if I'm not mistaken, about 3 years ago or so. 3 years ago or so, we sold the telephone unit. But I'm sure you remember that. The first phones in the Philippines.
Yes.
The first mobile phones in the Philippines, orange LEDs, right?
Actually, my phone, the internet is a little slow. Can you guys help me out with that?
Just buy a bigger package. Pay a little bit more money, and then probably you'll give it a go. Yeah,
That's a prescription.
You're not telling him not to be so cheap, right?
I wasn't saying anything.
No, nothing at all, right?
I'm looking you up on Google, and it's just a little slow, and it's taken 10 minutes to get the internet up. But I think it's just it's very fascinating, especially when just for we're talking about these big broad things that you're doing, but the things that the people like here can actually grab a hold of you,
Yes.
experience the
That's-
facial recognition software that NEC has, which I find is very fascinating.
Because there are analytics, not just facial recognition, but there are analytics connected to it, and it's amazing. I mean, you've announced that I have an electronics degree in engineering from Apua, and that's why I'm jumping up and down every time I go to Tokyo to take a look at the technologies that are available. I jump up and down. It's like, oh my gosh, we can do
It's
this.
like a
Oh
toy
my
store,
gosh, we
right?
can do. It is like a toy. No, shoe store.
Shoe store.
We have women leaders
President
at the
Daniels.
shoe store.
Yeah.
It's like a shoe store. Oh my goodness. You know?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Not a toy store, a shoe store. Yeah.
So are shoes part of your success formula?
I think so.
Really?
Seriously, I think so. I remember when I was an account manager, there was a lady from a very, very big international bank. And the reason she likes talking to me, she's interested what kind of shoes I'll be wearing for that day. I take great pains in, you don't start out as having all the money to buy a few things,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You don't start out like that. You start out with, just enough. But I make sure that I'm dressed correctly because, sadly, that's the way women will be regarded. I was reading an article about Hillary Clinton, and she was asked, this young lady asked, how should she be dressing up, and how should she be groomed? The fact that she's now presumptive president. And the article started saying, her hair is to be immaculate, but it doesn't have to look like it was professionally blow-dried. The world does not look in the same manner as gentlemen who looks like they spent the evening in the couch and go back to work. The women has to do basic grooming.
I mean, Hillary, just because I happen to know somebody who's very close to Hillary, they have a team
Exactly.
of people that do nothing but figure out what is she's going to wear on that day next month and what her hair is going to look like, and what her
Exactly.
makeup is going to look like. And they've got it, they've literally analyzed to the very minute
Exactly.
exactly what the public needs to see.
Exactly. I mean, like, if she's going to go on a speaking tour, they have to know what kind of background she's going to be in because that's the kind of clothes she's going to be dressed in.
Yeah, she was criticized actually a few weeks ago for wearing a $25,000 Armani top.
25,000?
$25,000. Yeah. While she was talking about the poverty in the United States.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
Meanwhile, I want to find out who does Donald Trump's hair.
You mean
No.
Atlantis?
I think they need to think about finding a different guy sometimes.
Or the orange pallor.
The color, yeah. I was
The
thinking-
orange pallor.
Oh, yeah. Never goes away.
I could recommend a good spa.
But they're going, if Hillary does in turn become president, and she'll be the most powerful woman probably on the planet,
It is. That's the way it's
they, because I think she is a woman, they will be going after her left and right. And because she has,
Just like they did with Obama, because he was the first
yeah, he's the
Yeah.
African American.
African-American.
You
With a
stick
name.
out.
I
You
mean-
stick out, right?
Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, thought that that the United States of America will have a president with that name?
Oh yeah, Obama.
And then
Barack.
Hussein, right, with the middle name, right?
Hussein, right?
Yeah. Who would have thought that?
Who would have thought that?
Well, when I was growing up, the fact that you would say a black person would be the president was absolutely ludicrous. No one would even. At that time, people were even like, "Why are we letting black people vote?" And now,
There was one point, yes.
in my lifetime, I've seen things completely turn around. And not only did we have a black president, but we might possibly have a woman president.
Yeah.
After a black president.
After we have a woman president, I think the only one still missing would be to have an
Filipino?
American Indian president.
American Indian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Especially
but
after
yeah.
the American Holocaust, where they killed millions and millions and millions of them.
But we won't admit that. So
Yeah, of course, it'll be swept under the carpet,
Yeah.
like it's been for 100 years.
No, but yeah, right? It's I mean, look at Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs.
yeah.
I don't think they do a stylist. Do you think?
I don't think so.
No, but right?
They wear the same color sweater every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but it goes with a certain level of success. I think you can get away with stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
I think actually they kind of say that their success is based on it because they don't spend so much time thinking about what to wear, which frees them up to think about the important things.
Yeah.
That's part of their success formula, actually. It's
Could be.
like,
Yeah.
all the tops and all the pants, they go together in colors, so you don't really have to think, right? You just grab one, grab the other, and it doesn't matter which one you pick, and it still fits the pants and it still fits the shoes. Right? So,
And the crowd's response to them will be the same. It's not like, oh my God, you look like this today, and then yesterday you look better.
there's no surprise. So
It's
they
like-
really focus on the subject matter. So I think as a man, I think we can afford such things. As a woman, it's much more difficult.
Oh,
It is much more difficult. I mean, we're rated according to our looks. It's given. It's a given.
But I actually saw one. Her name is, she's the founder of Theranos. Her name's Elizabeth Holmes. And she wears the same thing.
Every day.
Like every day, she's wearing this black a turtleneck and then pants. And then that's all she wear. Like even her picture
But
in
not the exact
Time.
same one, just similar looking, right?
I don't know, but it looks like almost the same thing,
Okay.
almost every day. And she goes to her lab and everything, and you see her in Time. You see her Wikipedia pictures.
So that's her
everything.
signature look.
Yeah. And I was like, you're the only person I see that's wearing the same thing, woman.
Yeah,
She's
woman.
definitely going
Every day.
against the grain.
But how about you?
She has a
How
good
do you
washing
how do you take care? I mean, what's your standard? How do you
What's my
say it?
standard?
Yeah. I mean, tell us more about
I think
it.
you have to be healthy. Basic stuff. I put time in the gym. I'm an avid Pilates, Pilates
Oh,
practitioner.
That's so flexible.
My
Core strength.
I know. my goal right now is to be able to be on the ball only on 2 points.
Wow.
I'm able to float already on the ball 4 points, but no. But yeah, I think you have to be healthy. That's the basic thing, so that you can function properly. You have to have enough sleep.
Yeah.
Ariana Huffington actually came out with a book called Sleep Deprivation. And when she was interviewed on TV, she was talking about a certain political candidate who was exhibiting classic signs of sleep deprivation. He would say things today and say the following day not admit it, and then on the third day say a different thing altogether again. He's confused what his position is. And so Ariana was on
Sounds
CNN.
like the Donald, right?
I will not say who
What?
it is, but I will say this.
They didn't see that. Too
Nobody
bad.
saw that. Nobody saw that. But yeah, so you have to have enough sleep. You have to be
Yeah.
healthy, basic healthy. I'm not saying 24-inch waistline and stuff like that. It wouldn't hurt for me to have that, but that is not the goal. The goal is for me to be able to function optimally.
Yes,
And the way
yes.
you could be able to do that is if you have a healthy body.
Absolutely.
This is a rental, you know. It's a rental. Some people call it a rental.
At least.
Yeah, it's a leased property. So the other thing is, how do I get ready?
Yes.
If I feel that I am prepared for the day, then I am. Oh, yeah. Like I have to have my hair in the right place. You're clean, and all that, and you're prepared. I wake up in the morning very early, and I don't get up right away. I stay in bed looking at the ceiling and thinking about, what have I done yesterday? What am I going to do today? Preparing my thoughts and, whatnots, what have you. Some people call it meditation.
Yes.
Yeah, some people call it meditation.
You don't really have to say.
Getting myself ready for the day. And then I get up. First thing I do is, other than the other stuff, have my milk and then go to the gym.
Go to the gym, and then you go to the office.
And then I go to the office. So.
I have one question before that. What was the last thing that is on your mind? Because usually people get stressed when they wake up because there's something that's on their mind before they sleep. What's the last thing that's usually on your mind before you sleep?
What's the last thing? Oh, goodness. I'm
what am I going to wear tomorrow?
No, probably not. I doubt that.
No. I knew what I was going to wear today.
That's fine.
Even when Bjorn said, "Are we confirmed?" Because I was confirming with him middle of the week, and I said, are we confirmed? And he said, yes, of course, definitely. I said, I just need the address. Where am I going to go? And I knew already what I was going to wear today. And I knew that today is going to be a very busy day. You saw that my 2 guests today. And wait, before I move further, there's a little boy listening. His name is Odain Sanchez. Hello, Odain. Odain is a gifted little boy. Aww. He's studying the Suzuki method of piano. He's been doing concerts with a group, and I think he's been invited to play in Hong Kong Disneyland very soon. He'll be playing the piano there. Very gifted little boy. Hi, Odain.
Hi, Odain.
How old are you, Odain?
He's 9.
9.
Wow. I hope I said right, Odain? Wow. He would be calling me in a short while saying, no, Nina, I'm something else, But anyway, hi, guys, and I have a group of girlfriends. They actually are one of the reasons why I'm a little bit grounded. The kind of conversations that my girlfriends and I would have. I remember in January, we sat down for our usual coffee, and one of the things they asked me is like, what did we do in 2015? What was significant about 2015? We have conversations like that. We travel together, We're all very, we're all married, we all have children. We're all in the workplace, and I think to a lot of extent we've all been very, very fortunate to be doing very significant stuff today. One is based out of New York, one is based out of San Francisco, and 4 of us are based in Metro Manila. So, hey, Allurings, how are you? I hope you're listening.
Oh, Allurings.
Yeah, we call ourselves that.
So the influence of friends on your life and being able to get where you are. I mean, a lot of times people think it was my friends that helped me get through all the tough times and so forth.
Oh goodness, yes, definitely.
And I can imagine climbing the ladder in a Japanese company and being a woman. You probably relied on your friends a lot during that time.
And your husband, maybe?
Oh yeah, my husband's a big factor in everything that's happening in my life. Because everybody, and this is not as a disrespect to the Filipino male, okay? But every time people meet me for the first time, the first thing they always say is like, are you married to a foreigner? Because of my personality, the way I come across, and I said, no, he's Filipino. And he's been the reason also why I can do the things I can do. There would be days that I would be late in the office. It's a given.
Of course.
I tried to put my son to sleep every night. I took him in at a certain time. And, he would call only because he wants to find out if I've had dinner and if I'm going to have dinner at home. He's not calling to say, are you coming home? What time are you going to be there? Are you going to spend late again? He's not that kind of a guy. And, he's the kind of person also that would be very proud to tell people of what I do. He doesn't think it's less macho that, his partner is occupying a more cushier spot than he is. Doesn't matter to him.
So there's
and he's also very poggy. Our goal actually is to make sure that there are more women in the C-suite.
Yeah.
I think in the Philippines and
not just there.
globally,
Yeah.
it takes a lot for a woman to raise her hand. The first thing that you ask a woman is, what do you want to be? Not a lot of girls would say, I want to be CEO or I want to be president of that company, right?
That's true.
That's not very usual. They would say, oh, I will be the VP, I will be the senior vice president or I'll be second in command. But not always do girls, young women would say, raise their hand and say, I want to be there. So one of our goals is to inspire and inculcate that mentality into a lot of the younger generation.
So really have a vision for themselves.
We do. We do have a lot of talks happening in campuses. I for one has a younger lady who I'm seeing on a regular basis, and hopefully it will help her. Because I think from the perspective of just gaining that confidence and facing the world is very vital for you to be able to get there. You've met my daughter. She's very confident in a very quiet way. Unlike me, who I walk in and...
There's no contradiction between power and humility.
No.
When you look at the
it's the same.
most positively memorable leaders in history, they've all been powerful and humble at the same time.
That's true.
I look at Mahatma Gandhi, the Buddha,
was gonna-
Jesus
yes.
Christ, right?
Yes.
Mother Teresa,
Yes.
Nelson Mandela. They've all been humble and powerful at the same time.
Quiet,
Yeah.
quiet, and powerful.
I like what she said about the word grounded, and it's how do you what's grounded for you, in line to what you're saying about power and humility. What's
Realizing what this is really all about. People think I'm being coy about. Nah, it's just a job, but it is. It's just a job for me that enables me to do so many things.
Some say life purpose is important. Do you have a life purpose?
Yeah, I want to be able to help this society become a better place, one person at a time. I start with my family. I want to be able to share that my biggest criteria for success is if my children come out as responsible, giving citizens to this republic, and that would be success for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're talking about success and children. We have to take a quick commercial break here and give everybody a little chance to sit back and think about things. And we're going to be right back with Agnes, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about being a woman leader and her children and the things that she's done in life. Stick around. We'll be right back on DZRJ Radio 810 AM. We're back at Revolutions Per Minute on DZRJ Radio, and we're talking to Agnes Gervacio, and I mispronounced her name every single time that I have.
He likes to do that to everyone in the show.
I have spoken to her about.
how'd you know?
We're having an absolutely wonderful conversation, though, with her. She is the president of NEC
Thank you.
Philippines. And during the break, we were talking about, I was telling her how I met her daughter before and how just absolutely intelligent she is. And I think that might be a little bit spawned off because of her mother. And
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, thank you.
and that's something that's interesting is women and intelligence. In general, in our history, men have always been thought of as being the most intelligent of the gender. But I think that that might be slowly changing. You were talking
The perception
about,
of it.
You were giving some database things from in the Philippines, and things like how do we decide who is the smartest person? And we were looking at. I was just glancing through some old stuff that I had from the Nobel Peace Prize, and how we really haven't had a lot of women win the Nobel Peace Prize, and
Winners.
None so far in mathematics. And how do women think in the future to change that, or to give women better chances to become higher up in intelligence as far as the perception of intelligence?
Okay. Well, to begin with, I think education is key. It's a great equalizer. Without education that my mother sacrificed for, I don't think I'd be doing what I like to do today. My brother.
It's true.
Yeah, my brother and my eldest brother is actually a doctor. He runs a hospital in Balayan, Batangas, and he's 180 degrees. Remember?
Oh yes.
He's like the Buddha compared to the fire breathing dragon that I am. Yeah, but my brother's like that. He's like, he doesn't stress out about a lot of things. He's like, sure, that's fine. Let him. He's like that. It's not because he avoids conflict. He can face conflict if it needed. But going back to your question, I think it has to do a lot with education. And the next thing is to raise their hand. Again, not a lot of women raise their hands.
It takes courage, no?
It takes courage to raise your hand because, like in class, I remember in university, we go to an electrical laboratory doing 100 volts and stuff. And, you'd have to dabble with electricity. And my group mates would say, you're the girl, you take down the notes.
I just opened to a page here that is Sheryl Sandberg, who's the CEO of Facebook, once said, I want every little girl who's been told she's bossy to be told again she has leadership skills.
Exactly. Because if it's a man, oh, look at that leader. If it's a woman, look at that bossy woman,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's what it is, and we have to change that notion. If I'm in class and I blabber a lot, if I contribute a lot, they would call me, oh, there she goes again, blabbering in school. Even if I'm making sense, right? But if it's a man who's doing that in university, and there's probably 3 of us women in every class, they would say, oh my gosh, he knows what he's talking about. I mean, look at that.
Leader.
Yeah, look at that. They were asking me to take down the notes and not participate in the laboratory. I was like, wow, you don't know how to write? Excuse me.
I think the world has a lot of confusion about force and leadership. So many people, even very advanced ones and so-called leaders, think that force is leadership, but force is not leadership.
No.
Force is force. And as long as we see force as leadership, we're going to say, oh, men may be more qualified, but force is not leadership.
No.
And that's in
It
your
may be
book
more
too, right?
management. Management may be more on the force side. Leadership, not so much. To me, maybe what keeps women back is they're leaders already before they even become managers. So maybe that's where the disconnect is.
Yeah, you can be a
maybe,
leader,
right?
not being in the corporate structure.
Yes,
you can be
right.
a leader, even if you're a homemaker.
Yes, exactly.
Like I said, my favorite example is, if I were a banana cube vendor, I'd still be a leader. I will be the best one there.
Yes.
One of the ladies in the Filipino CEO circle started as a fishbowl lady girl selling fishbowls in a small.
God, I cried.
In a
That's
small,
awesome.
Yeah, in a small market.
Yeah.
At Alipapa. And the reason she's very successful selling those fish balls is because her sauce is the best one. Because she makes sure it's excellent.
Yes.
See, the goal is always excellence. And where is
Yes.
she now? She's the president and CEO of a very big concern today. And that's how she started.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
That's
I mean,
really
like,
awesome.
It really has nothing to do with the product. I mean, it has something to do with the product.
And it
has
doesn't
something to
matter
do
where
with
you
the person
start.
that
It doesn't matter where you start. You can
It doesn't
start at
matter.
the very bottom.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's
Even if
just
it's
like
fish
running.
balls.
It's just like running. I probably cannot run today, but let me take a few steps.
Yeah,
I'm still
yeah.
faster than the guy on the couch. Something
And,
like that,
and
right?
more, even better, I'm better
Right?
than the person I was yesterday, right?
And that's the goal also.
Yeah.
You have to, you're a work in progress. I think you have to make sure you become better and better and better. And I was like sharing with you, the reason I like talking in front of a crowd, the reason I like talking like this is because it gives me, it makes me a better speaker.
Yes.
You know, you get practice, you get
Exactly.
practice, you get practice,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'd like to be able to come in and control the crowd right away. Who doesn't? All of us do. But how does that happen? Your 10,000 hours, right?
10,000
Yes,
hours.
yes.
That's
Your
true.
10,000 hours. Is
David Goliath.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Eh,
You need
for-
to put in your 10,000 hours.
Yeah, for those people who are actually listening in, what I see and then I notice, because I also read body language, is that, remember what you said about force and power? She comes in and talks without any force.
Yes.
And that feels
thank
like a
you.
breath of fresh air.
is,
Even
it
on
is.
this.
And to me, that's a mark of true leadership.
Thank you.
When someone
Thank you very
doesn't
much.
have to use force, because you only have to use force when you're not enough of a leader.
You're thinking
And some
about
of
something
them
deep.
may
Eric.
not like to hear this right now, right?
But that's true.
But women are very good at this. You know, for centuries, women have been suppressed, and they had to lead from a secondary position. Yeah,
Look at
in a way,
Malala.
right?
Why was Malala shot? Because she insisted on learning. She insisted on
Exactly.
getting an education.
Yes.
How difficult is that? And look at her now.
Yeah, and she
She's
still
a-
continues to step forward, and she still continued on her
no,
journey,
no
right?
fear. Just
Continued
continue.
on. Maybe she was afraid, but she continued on anyways, just like you on your zip line, right? Yeah, it's like
I showed you the video. You will die. I'm so scared. I was like,
and yet you did it anyways. You felt the fear, you experienced the fear, but you didn't allow the fear to stop you. And that's where leadership begins. We have to start leading ourselves.
what? Don't you think I'm
Right.
scared every morning? I'm scared every morning.
No way.
I'm scared. I'm scared not like to the point of paralysis,
Yeah,
not like that. But
yeah.
you're scared. I was like, I hope I do a good job today. I hope I'm able to deliver today. I'm able to do the stuff I'm supposed to do today.
And I think most people go through that. We're just not authentic enough to admit it to ourselves and others.
But it's
right?
true.
And that's also very powerful when we can be real, when we can be authentic.
Well, the one thing that you were saying about about 5 minutes back about being forceful, and one of the things that I've always thought that was an issue with women is if I'm a woman and if I'm in front of people and I'm being forceful, then I'm not being feminine. And if I'm being too feminine, then I'm not a strong leader. The middle ground, being able to find the point where you're not so forceful that you're not seen as effeminate, because there's no way to get around that. That's always going to be something that you're going to have to deal with, especially if you're a woman and you're trying to get up in management and you're trying to get farther along. You have to deal with the fact that men are going to look at you as a woman. And and how do you balance being forceful and assertive, but not getting so far away from your femininity?
I think it works wonders as well. I think I have a little bit of advantage sometimes if you're a woman.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
No,
I think you have an advantage because they don't look at you as somebody who's going to go into combat,
or who's a threat.
Who's a threat?
Yes.
Or somebody who's probably gonna, do this to you or something like that. Sometimes it works out as an advantage. A lot of times it's also a disadvantage. But you have to stand your ground. You have to stand your ground. I find that looking for that balance has always been key in order for me to be able to get to the next step. I was the first, I think. My boss in Eastern Telecom, I was the first person to lead international carrier relations. During that time, you go to the Intelsat headquarters in Washington, D.C. every May, and you talk to all the carriers. All the carriers would have rooms, and none of the women will be talking to the countries that are not usually perceived as welcoming to women. But I think my boss at the time, Pete Rojas, who's one of the guys that I admire, took a gamble on bringing me to Intelsat and say, you will lead this team today. And one of the things that worked for me at that time for the first visit was they saw that the chairman of the board and the president of the company was actually, giving me the time of day. My boss and, like the chairman would open the door and say, Agnes, please. Or I would be carrying a big bag and the chairman would say, let me carry that for you. And they would say, oh, look at that, That worked for me. But it's not because I was exhibiting that I was a weakling. I don't think so. It's more that I am being accorded the level of respect that a woman deserves. But at the same time, in the boardroom, when I sit there, they listen to the points that I would be saying because it makes sense. I'm very fortunate from the standpoint of them, all the bosses that I worked for, looking past the gender, even today. And I agree. It's a very sexy concept. Japanese, 117-year-old company, Filipina president. That speaks so much. It's so sexy kind of thing, right? It's a sexy concept.
You got your high heels. And,
I'm like notorious for high heels.
I think anytime somebody creates a breakthrough, and this is definitely a significant breakthrough, right? That's sexy to all of us because
it is.
It's inspiring.
It is very inspiring.
It gives the rest of us the courage and maybe the possibility of maybe also having a breakthrough in life.
It is. I agree to that, and we've seen so many examples. To understand that is not an issue between a competition between a male and a female.
Yeah, eventually, hopefully, we won't be having this conversation anymore.
Oh, I hope so. I hope we're not going to do International Women's Day anymore.
That's true.
We won't need it anymore. Right?
Oh my God.
Why are you the president? How could you be the president? And we wouldn't have that conversation anymore. And
exactly.
Now it's all about, everybody. Oh, it's
Maybe,
because,
Maybe we'll have an International Men's Day because the women will be so powerful and so strong.
No, that would be horrible.
Yes, I have a feeling that's a long ways away. But
it's a very long ways away.
Hopefully in my lifetime we can have Men's Day.
Exactly. The fact that we needed it means there's a hole.
Yes, there's a vacuum to be filled.
Vacuum,
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
very necessary at this point.
It is. It is.
Did your friends? There was a recent International Women's Day in Poland. Did your
Yes.
friends tell you a little bit? I know you probably wanted to go, but your husband had a birthday.
Oh yeah,
And,
it was happening. It was
maybe-
happening on the same week as my husband's birthday. So there was a global summit of women that happened in Poland, and we also got a special invitation from the mayor of Krakow to go visit. So a few of us Filipino CEO Circle members went. We have Mon Ontiveros, who's the chairman of AirAsia. You have Rosario Cajucom Bradbury, who I understand has been on the show as well.
Yes.
She is formerly the SGS CEO in the Philippines. Ambassador Delia Albert, of course, was representing the Filipino CEO Circle
Yes.
there as well. Ma was
Wonderful
actually-
lady.
Oh, she's a wonderful
Yeah.
trailblazer.
Hi Delia, if you're listening.
Yeah, Ambassador Delia, how are you? I hope you're listening. And she's a real trailblazer. The first,
Yes, she is.
First Secretary of Foreign Affairs for the Philippines.
Wow.
Who else was there? Oh gosh.
Christina was there, huh?
Christina Concepcion,
Yeah.
who's the president of the Filipino CEO Circle. Was
We
there.
also had her here a few weeks
Yes,
ago.
a few weeks
yeah.
ago, and Rose Montenegro, who's the president of Makati Medical Center, was
Beautiful.
in attendance for the Global Summit of Women. So this is our yearly conference that's happening. So my friends were there. We will be having a debrief when they come back, all on the 14th of July. So there's not much that I would be able to tell you.
Okay.
The other thing that's probably of interest would be the Filipino Women's Network. This is an organization based out of the U.S. Marily Mondejar was the
Wow.
founder, and they usually give awards out for 100 most influential Filipino women.
Beautiful.
So the past winners have been members of the Filipino CEO Circle as well. Ambassador Delia, Karen Batumbacal de Venecia, Marifé Zamora was the first winner from if I am not mistaken. Ai Campos is also a past winner in 2014.
powerful women.
Yeah, I'm very happy that it's being recognized. But so this year, AC Chon, the president of Aspen, is also a past winner from last year. Emma Imperial, who's the president and CEO of Imperial Homes, a UN awardee, who's a good friend, is also a past winner. So this year, I'm nominated. I'm shortlisted for inclusion together with Rosario. So that's happening in Cebu this
When
year.
is that?
This is going to be in August 14.
This is for the Filipino Women's Network, isn't it?
Filipino Women's Network.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful,
Alright.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I think the other thing we need is more men supporting women power, right? I think that takes a lot of security within the men to do that. But I think we need to balance things out more, and it needs to support not just of the women saying, yes, we can do this, but also from the men supporting
Looking
that.
past the gender.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
looking past the gender is
Absolutely.
I know. I would like to have a wife who was a president of NEC.
I
could sit at home.
That's not how it works.
I could sit at home on the couch and just support her.
Oh no, it doesn't work.
You just
that
put my
way.
thoughts in my mouth.
That would be far from now because of what you're saying. Doesn't work that
but
way.
seriously, it's I have friends like that. I have friends who are CEOs or who have house husbands. I also have met a lot of diplomatic women in the diplomatic corps who have what they call a trailing husband. It's because that's what they
Trailing.
call it. It's a
Yeah.
trailing husband.
What
Because
does
the
that
husband
mean?
would follow.
Oh,
That's right. That's right.
Come on, honey.
They gave up their career for
They
the
give
woman.
a career for the woman to be able, because the woman is enjoying and how would I say it, is progressing much faster. And
Yes,
probably
yes.
like the lady that I met, she's based out of Europe, and I said, oh, so this is very interesting because you have a little boy, and what does your husband do? Because you guys have to
Move.
go all over the world every 3 years or so. Oh, I have a trailing husband. And
I think the beauty here in the,
I love
in the
that.
Philippines is that the husbands are much more open to the women taking the lead than maybe in China,
We're
where
a matriarchal
it's like not
society.
allowed, right? Where
we
it's
are a
not allowed.
matriarchal
yeah.
society. Yes.
That's what they are.
Absolutely, which is, I think is one of the beautiful things here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than our beaches. And now I fly the flag really.
And the beautiful women.
Yes.
Other than that, yeah. But
Yes.
I fly the flag really fiercely in inviting
Amen.
people
Amen
to
to that.
visit the Philippines because they only read bad stuff about us.
Oh, that's
Once
true.
they come and visit and they see what's in store for them, we get more and more visitors. So.
Yeah, when you're far away, you tend to hear only the negative stuff, which is kind of sad, no?
It is very sad.
Yeah, it kind of keeps the world apart. It doesn't
Well,
help.
You can help. You can help.
From the point of
To become a trailing husband?
the
What?
U.S. Yes, I'm going to get me a T-shirt that says "I'm a trailing husband."
I wouldn't mind being a trailing husband to my wife.
Start
Not
with
at
a
all.
trailing boyfriend, Eric. Start
Trailing
with a
boyfriend.
trailing boyfriend first.
Yes, I know. I got to work my way up to the trailing husband part.
You hear that, honey? I want to be a trailing husband.
Vicky, don't listen to him.
But it is rough when I go back to the United States and I try and tell people how wonderful it is, and they go, "Why are you going to this country? It's a haven for terrorists, and there's always killings, and everybody's because that's all they see." And I have to explain to them. I said, "It's like you're living in New York, and down in Puerto Rico there was a killing. So now you think that's going to, it's very far removed." And trying to explain, well, there's beaches and there's beautiful history here and there's lots of things.
And the warmth of the people is, I think, unparalleled
yes.
anywhere.
And everybody,
Absolutely.
it's a big difference
absolutely.
between going to the Philippines and going to, say, Japan. In the Philippines, everybody speaks English. The TV is just like sitting at home in North Carolina watching regular television. It's exactly the same. The stores are all they're all English. A lot of them are U.S. companies that have come here.
We have Krispy Kreme.
Here in the Philippines, you can have almost an easier life if you
Much
have
easier life, yes.
and it does add to as well. I tell you, we're getting close to being to the end of our show, which it went by
time
so
flew.
incredibly quickly.
Incredibly
Time
fast.
flew.
So much fun.
Thank you.
so
I had
much
a
for
wonderful
being here.
time.
Anything you want to
It
say
was
in
really
closing
amazing.
Well,
for women out there?
for women out there,
Yes.
especially the younger women, please do not be afraid to raise your hand. Always raise your hand.
Yes.
It only takes a quest for excellence for you to be able to do the things that beyond your wild imagination. Quest for excellence, and you will get into the C-suite. Raise your hand. Do not be afraid. Like Sheryl Sandberg said, I hope those little girls will no longer be called bossy, but leaders.
That's right.
And
That's
I hope to
right.
be able to see that in my time, in this lifetime. I'd like to thank you, Bjorn. I'd like to thank Eric. Thank you, Miss Magpantay. I'm gonna say Miss Magpantay.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you also. We loved you to have
Oh,
you
thank
here.
you, thank you very
blessing
much.
to have you. I
Oh,
really,
thank
really
you.
appreciate that. It's
Okay, so you go ahead. All right. Yeah, but it was really for those who are, we have been blessed to have you like live on the show, because for those who are actually listening right now, you just don't know the kind of energy that she has brought here,
Oh,
and
thank
it's
you. That's
really
so kind.
amazing.
Thank you.
Really, like you said, grounded. Really, a breath of fresh air. Very refreshing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Very
I
refreshing.
appreciate that.
and I'm so grateful for you being a trailblazer for so many women to come and follow in your footsteps and
I'm
and
pretty
model
lucky.
themselves.
Yeah, I'm
after
pretty lucky.
you.
There's a few women ahead of me who paved the way already.
Yeah.
So there's some road to go by, and hopefully there's a big highway that's going to be created for everyone very soon.
And I think women
And I
can
have
be.
a daughter.
Oh.
I have a daughter. That's the first thing that you have. I have to be a good model. I have somebody who watches me 24/7 when she was a little baby, right? She was with mommy, and I have to make sure that, hopefully, the kind of person that she becomes is somebody we all want to be.
That's
like,
right, that's right,
I mean,
that's right.
not the hoity-toity titles or whatever, or to become Queen of England or whatever.
And I hope in the future that.
But you know what I'm saying, right?
That we start to
Wait,
Not go there.
it'd be something if she became the Queen of England.
Oh,
Boy,
yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, so
Queen's
She
mother.
need a mosquito and some high heels and find her way.
But you can imagine me as Queen Mother, right?
yeah. So in the future,
Wouldn't
I hope that we don't look
doubt
at it. We don't look at it from a men versus woman perspective, but
no.
rather like saying, what is a leader? What works being a leader, and what can we emulate, no matter what the gender is, right? I think we can learn from each other, and we can learn a lot from women leaders.
How can I'm a Filipina right now. I'm very much inspired with what you have already gone through and what you're still about to do. How can I see you? How can I follow you? How can I get more of that so that I can become more? I mean, we're very curious. So how?
Okay, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. So just look for me, Agnes Gervacio.
Yes, I was going to say, this is for our next show where we're going to hopefully ever have you again.
Yeah.
We can continue on to things. But listen, thank you everyone for joining us today on Revolutions Per Minute on DZRJ Radio. I think today we inspired many Filipinos.
Yeah.
Filipinas
to take charge of their destiny. Thanks again to Bjorn and Olera. I am Eric LeCaine. And
Magpantay.
and we will see you next week on Revolutions Per Minute.